guys, welcome to The Bachelor, the morning after. And last night was a big episode.
Big one.
Big, huge.
Huge episode.
Huge. But Jared, we haven't had you on since you guys first announced you were in a relationship. You haven't.
Oh yeah, huh? It's
been here
been
for
that
a
long.
recap.
It's been that long, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on a recap in a while. I'm excited. Big episode. Good episode to be on.
So who do we believe? Cassie Caelynn versus everyone else.
You should have seen our house last night. So we had a few friends over to watch it, and the arguments, it was like the discussions, the analyzation was so intense.
It was pretty intense.
And I was like, you know when you're like stuck in your ways? And I was like, I don't even want to hear your opinion on this. Because I thought I was so team Tayshia and crew. But then you start listening to them, and they're like, "There's no proof."
Well, give us
There's literally
examples.
no proof.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? There's no.
Why were you Team Tayshia, and why aren't you
I
anymore?
was going off my gut, and I usually say like, if the majority of the girls are on one side, that's the right side.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. It seems like Cassie and Caelynn versus the entire house.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe all of them, and I believe none of them. I think Tayshia and Kirpa didn't hear diddly poo.
They didn't. If
I
you
don't
go
think,
back
I
and
think they're
listen-
basing it off
correct,
Katie,
nothing.
so they're wrong because
Yeah.
they're just making assumptions at this point.
Katie's the only one who actually heard something.
Yeah.
And therefore is really the only one who should speak about
I
it.
don't know if she's the only one though, because there are other girls beforehand that have been like, watch out, giving like these vague, almost threats to Colton, like, careful who you pick. Demi did it, Katie did it, and so Sydney did it.
Guys, where there's smoke, there's fire.
No,
That's what
I
I'm saying.
agree. That's
That's
why
why-
I'm saying I'm probably team Tayshia and in crew.
Yeah, but that's why I also don't believe Cassie and Caelynn. I think they said something. I think Cassie and Caelynn, is it really that far-fetched to think two 23-year-old girls who are on this Bachelor season might think they're not ready to get engaged to a guy they know for 2 months? Especially like Cassie just did a reality TV show, a month before she did this one with her ex-boyfriend. I mean, it's just, and then
Second
Caelynn,
season.
Second season already. And then so I think it's really not that
Caelynn was
far-fetched for Caelynn and Cassie to have been talking one day and been like, are you ready to be engaged? Because I'm not sure if I'm ready to be engaged. Like, all this is kind of a whirlwind. And then all of a sudden somebody overheard it and immediately thought, oh, they're not ready. And then it got blown out of proportion. And now Caelynn and Cassie are kind of like backtracking. Because even the scenes where they were in the bedroom.
Yeah, okay, wait. There's actually something very important to talk about what was said in the bedroom. Quote, Caelynn said, good thing Katie didn't name names.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's not a direct quote, but it's something along those lines. So if you go back and watch that and you hear her say, thank goodness she didn't say names, that's her admitting they did say something.
Exactly.
And Cassie said, I hope my words don't get twisted now.
I hope my
And so
words don't
my
get
thought went to, well, what words do you think are going to get twisted? What did you say?
Exactly. And I think for me, maybe I need to say a psychologist about this, but throughout the whole season, I have always sat here and said, there's something up with the fakeness of Caelynn and Cassie. And I think it is because of that whole popular girl thing in high school, and that is who they remind me of. And I think they got a little nasty last night. And if you want to talk about Caelynn breaking down on the top of that mountain and Cassie lashing out at Kirpa, it's just, they just don't seem genuine. They seem fake, and they want to be influencers. I'm sorry. And that is what Tayshia basically said to Colton. They want to go places. They're interested in parties, where they're going to go.
Yeah. Caelynn has
Cool, Ash.
Caelynn's made me feel nervous at multiple times throughout the season. As in, like, if I were on her season, I feel like I'd be like a little bit nervous around here. Kind of like, like the popular.
I don't think it's coincidental that Caelynn and Cassie don't seem to be that close of friends with everybody else in the house. At least during filming. I'm sure they're friends now. But and especially on the mountain, Caelynn did kind of pull a 180 because she is very put together and she's very. She does come off calculating a lot of times. And then on the mountain, when her character was questioned, she immediately just started saying, F her, F that, I better get the F in Rose. It was just a little jarring to see. Having said that, like, I can understand why she's pissed.
If that was somebody like me or somebody who is normally like a little more excitable, a little bit more outspoken, then for her to be like blah blah blah, that's like one thing. Like if Iaconetti did that, we wouldn't have
batted an eyelash.
Who else would we have not batted an eyelash? Like Demi did that. We wouldn't think of that at all, right? But with Caelynn, who presents herself so prim and proper and just so sweet and soft spoken, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, which Caelynn is the real one? What's living inside her?
Having said that, though, Kirpa and Tayshia are in the wrong as well. Because they're going off assumptions.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're just not telling us something, or they're not allowed to say something, whatever their proof, evidence is circumstantial at best.
Right, but they did say the girls got extremely defensive when Colton expressed that he's been warned girls weren't there for the right reasons.
I wonder what that looked like. I wish we could have seen that.
I think it looked exactly like they did in the two bedrooms, in the bedroom scenes when the two of them were talking.
Yeah.
Those two bedroom scenes, because both those scenes when they were talking to each other, Cassie and Caelynn, my mind immediately went to they're guilty, because it really came off that way. They were so defensive and like, no, we're fine. Like we didn't do anything wrong. I know we didn't do anything. We're fine.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh God. So I'm assuming that's what happened. But the idea that, you know, at least Tayshia was asked about it. You know, Colton asked, how do you feel about people being in the house for the wrong reasons?
Kirpa was asked about it too.
She was.
No.
Yeah.
Colton loves the drama. Yes, he did.
No, I think Kirpa, I mean, from what I saw, it looked like Kirpa just said it, because Kirpa said throughout the entire episode, if Colton asked me, if Colton asked me, if Colton asked me, and then at least the way it showed at the end, Kirpa went to Colton and said, hey, they're not here for the right reasons.
Really?
And Colton didn't really ask her about it.
However, I have to say that Kirpa didn't seem to give a crapola if she stayed or goed.
She knew, honey. She knew she was going.
So that's why she was like, hey, as might as well just tell him what I feel is the truth, because I don't think it's going to affect me one way or the other.
And you're right about Colton liking the drama. Colton just takes everything to heart, you know? And which is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because at some point you have to be like, okay, Colton, like just because one girl's talking crap about another doesn't mean that you have to lose it. I think he was also losing it because I think he liked Cassie and Caelynn a lot.
Right, and I don't think he got to experience all this girl drama in high school or college either.
Yeah, totally, no.
So this is his first time perhaps dealing with all this, and his mind is spinning.
Mm-hmm.
So what if this is all a distraction and Colton's the one who's actually not ready? Wouldn't that be a twist?
I mean, it is a great twist. You're thinking like a movie writer, baby.
Yeah. Oh, this whole time, who's not ready, who's not ready, who's not ready, and at the end, Colton says, I'm not ready to be engaged.
I wonder if he's drawn to girls who may be less ready, because I don't think he and Hannah B, it's just a theory, guys. I'm just throwing out thoughts here for the sake of conversation. But with Hannah B, she was so ready. She was so eager. She was definitely like the most there for the right reasons, right? But he was like, I can't feel it. I don't feel it. No chemistry, right? But so maybe he's just trying, maybe he's scared of the girls who do seem super ready.
You're right, and even if it's a subconscious thing.
Subconscious, of course.
Can I get down on bended knee? And I didn't really hear him start saying engagement, I'm ready until this episode. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in the past few episodes, he hasn't really been talking about how marriage is so important for him, like an Ari or a Nick. Like, now all of a sudden, he's like all about engagement.
Well, he's very scared that it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it does beg the question of what is more important, finding someone that you love or finding someone that's ready for an engagement, because I think those are two different things.
That was with Chris Soule's season, it was the definition. I mean, if you guys remember any details, it seemed in the house and on TV that he had the love with Becca, but then with Whitney, he was like, this girl's actually ready to commit. Mm-hmm. And then he ended up picking Whitney, and I don't think that was his heart's decision. I think that was his mind's decision. And look what happened. Broke up after 6 months.
Now she's married.
Yeah.
I know.
It all worked out for them.
I know. So hopefully Colton goes with his heart and doesn't try to go with his brain. But it is very interesting because Caelynn and Cassie were so defensive and were so adamant about them being ready, and everybody else is wrong, to the point where Caelynn said this effing biatch, and Cassie said,
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
That if Colton does propose to one of these girls, they better say yes. Because at this point, if going forward, if one of those two girls say, I'm not ready, then you've been lying the whole time.
You bring up such a good point. Such a good point.
They're so caught in their lies in that case.
Right. So okay. Let's just think of an alternative. I think we're all yelling at our TV screens that he's not listening to the warnings of so many girls about Caelynn and Cassie and gives them a rose.
Because he knows that Caelynn and Cassie are probably the only two he would pick, and he's like, well, I'm gonna have to ignore these warnings
About
because,
Hannah G, though.
because I can't be with any of the others. I don't know.
But I'm saying the alternative is Heather and Krupa going to hometowns.
That's ridiculous. Could you imagine?
So of course Caelynn and Cassie went.
Yeah.
And it's not an indictment on those two individually. It's just an
Hannah B.
indictment on their connection with Colton. It just wasn't there.
That's true.
To the point where Heather was even like, all right, you have a lot on your plate. I'm going to just get out of here. You have a nice life.
I have a theory on the Heather leaving by herself thing.
On the caboose.
Okay, so I think she got her first kiss, right? And they were like, we don't want him to have to dump this poor girl after the first kiss. So I think they were like, Heather, you think you're really getting through this week? Yeah, you don't think so, do you? And then they're like, maybe you should leave on your own because it's just going to be like a lot more tasteful.
If that's true, then that's a really good thing.
I think it was a fantastic look. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but 3 girls have dumped Colton. Has that happened in the past?
I feel like I've heard or talked about girls leaving a lot.
3's
Like,
a
oh wow,
lot.
3 or 4 girls have left The Bachelor this season. It is a lot. It's definitely building a narrative. This entire season is building a narrative towards something. Girls are leaving on their own. There's a lot of rumors and talk that there are girls in the house that aren't ready to be engaged. It's definitely a storyline that has been threaded throughout this entire season, leading to maybe the fence jump. You know, something.
That's when it breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as everyone should know by now, there was no ring in that box when they had the super tease.
Can you believe if that was an editing error? It was a huge editing error.
I
Yeah.
don't think anything is an error.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. Why? How could the public see there's no ring in there, but the editors didn't see
It's not
it?
an
All
error.
the people it goes through. I guess it's not an error.
So, when is this fence jump happening, guys?
It has to. I hope it doesn't happen next week, because I want it to be a meaningful, impactful moment, and I think at hometowns it's probably
it's
nothing.
not at hometowns?
So I really hope it's the final episode. I hope something happens that creates the most dramatic season of all time that causes Colton to jump over the fence, because I want it to be, holy crap, yes, he is justified to jump over that fence, and not, oh, you know, I don't know who to pick. See ya.
Or I have to say one last goodbye and I love you.
Yeah, like I want it to be something.
And you know it's going to be a cliffhanger too. So we're going to have to wait for a next episode to
I
see what
can't wait
happens.
any longer.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It won't
I
be
know.
hometowns.
As much as I know I do get critical of this show, and I'm now looking back at Ari like, I miss him because he was really ready for love.
He was.
This show is getting juicy.
It's so good this season.
Final thoughts. We often talk about age. Do you think that they would ever like increase the age a little bit? Or, I mean, you were saying this
course.
morning on live, like it would be weird if they have a bachelorette be 23 or 24.
I think it's crazy. I think the youngest bachelorette, I may be totally wrong, was probably JoJo, and was she 25? She may have been 25 or 26. Ali Fedotowsky was also 26, I believe.
Okay.
26 is a huge difference from 23. 23?
And I just don't know who would be Bachelorette, because Cassie and Caelynn, I mean, from this season appear maybe not to be ready, so I don't know if they would be. Hannah G is a content creator. I don't know if they would want that as the lead. No offense to content creators, but it would just be an interesting choice as the next Bachelorette, because usually they like, you know, the nice, really family-oriented storyline.
And we don't know
And then
anything
Tayshia.
about Hannah G.
So honestly, I think Tayshia right now is the lead to be the next Bachelorette. I mean, how do you not say that at this point? She's in the top 4.
Based
She's
on
28.
Twitter, I saw a poll on my Almost Famous Facebook group today, and they said that as far as who's your least favorite contestant remaining, Tayshia and Caelynn are tied. So I think Tayshia's more divisive than we believe that she is.
I believe she is as well, but who's your next lead? Unless it's somebody from not this season.
Right. And I think we need to go back in the vault and see who that could be. And I don't think it would be Elise, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Poor girl. She just screwed herself over.
Oh, by saying that she didn't
By
like the
leaving,
process.
by saying
Yeah.
she didn't like the process. It was obviously too emotionally tough on her.
Yeah,
no
how
way.
do you justify
She
that?
wasn't
to be the
into
next one?
Colton.
She could have been top 4.
She could have been up there.
could've
She
been
could still
top
be
4.
here. She could have been chosen. Who knows?
Okay, wait, but can we talk about how it's such an incredible season and yet we don't have a lead to choose, we feel like?
Well, I think that's why it's such an incredible season. Because you talk about Ari's season last year, and maybe, yes, perhaps it was more about finding a family and finding about love. But this season is a little bit more of a younger generation. Colton's 26, Colton is 26, the girls are 23. But it does make for a more dramatic and interesting season.
And that's what they wanted.
I'm not saying it's necessarily age-related, but it is a coincidence.
No, I think that's honestly what ABC wanted and why they picked Colton, and it's all working out. All right,
he's
guys.
been awesome.
That's
He's
interesting.
been by far the best
He's so
this
good.
season. Because usually I feel like every season, like the lead carries the season, yes, but it's majority about the girls or the guys in the house. That's what makes it most compelling. But for me, watching this season, the most compelling thing by far is Colton.
I have to say that of all the characters, he's the most rootable character for me. I want him to be happy. I am not necessarily rooting for any of the girls to like have their fairy tale ending. I want him to have his.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're rooting for Colton.
awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Let's talk about your book.
Oh, thank you.
Lucy and Clark, A Story of Puppy Love. You can go to lucyandclarkbook.com and purchase yours today.
LucyandClarkBook.com. Don't go to Amazon right now
Yes.
because then you're not going to get it for like 2 months.
Yeah, it
but if
doesn't
you
come out
go
till
to
late March.
LucyandClarkBook.com, you can get it by next week pretty much. It's loosely based on our love story. It's a story about overcoming your fears, the magic of coming out of like leaving your comfort zone, things that we had to do in order to have our relationship today.
Yeah, we wanted to write a book that each kid can take a lesson from, and parents would like as well. Because we kind of based it on the idea of being the kid at the playground who's too scared to talk to other kids and makes no friends. And so we wanted to write a book about that, and that's who Clark is. So
And it's told through the characters of our dogs.
yes,
It's just too freaking cute. Well, thanks for being here, guys.
Thank
and
you.
next week is Hometowns. Get ready.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like it, and subscribe. And if you want more Bachelor content, head over to Access Online.